Okay guys, so I'm going to go start streaming on YouTube just before we go live for the progressor chat. So if things go wrong, I'll probably close this Hangout helm, but we'll see how far we get. So if any errors pop up, like there's some ghosting or you hear yourself, just mention, because that'll be very useful for me to understand what's going on. So, did that come across? Thumbs up if you could hear it. Okay, cool. Did you guys manage to watch the videos and stuff, or even attempt a little bit of hair cards? You'll be right. That's why I made the resources. So technically you don't have to have made anything. Like those resources were the things that are made in the video. Hello Don Key on YouTube. So I was playing around with a bit of hair cards. I'm going to show you loads of little different techniques for this. Hello Ashura on Discord. Okay, so guys on Discord and on YouTube, if you're unaware, in about 10 minutes now, we're going to go live and demonstrate how to place some hair cards. So I sent out these resources ready in preparation, and then the videos on the members will get you up to this stage. So for example, like how to make high poly hair cards. And then the workshop is just basically us going to be placing them with loads of strategies ready for it to go into Unreal Engine. So there's a lot of little tips and tricks I'm going to show you guys. Probably some you haven't seen as well, which save you a lot of time when you're placing them. It looks like my head's spinning around everywhere because I'm looking at many different screens right now and chats and stuff. I'm watching your stream on both Discord and YouTube. That's hardcore. What I might do, if we have a bit of time, I might come back to the Discord Hangout helm after we've done the progressors, just for a bit of chat if anyone else has questions on hair cards. I want everyone to get a bit of information. No one's watched the videos. It's all right. The hopefully the way I've laid it out is that you can pick them up in your own time and basically turn up to the workshops having not watched the videos, because from experience that it's kind of an unavoidable thing. But for the time being, all you need to know is that we're working with a texture which you can create, you know, through the baking process, and we're going to be placing cards inside of Maya. So this is like the low poly setup that you'd see in a games engine. What we'll be doing is basically interesting ways to make it look good, like decent, but also optimize at the same time, because that's the hard thing about placing cards. It's actually really convoluted. But there's some new things in Maya we can test out, and different deformers, different strategies, different layering systems. So guys, before I go and start the progressor workshop, do you have any questions about hair cards or the games industry, or maybe a part of the process you're at in terms of your artwork? I can answer them super quickly. Yeah, we can take a look. Yeah, so the question was getting them to look good with the hair cards. Yeah, it's difficult because it's a back and forth process. Like, you'll be tweaking the high poly and then you'll be tweaking the low poly, and like the smallest amount adjustment. So say if you went into the high poly and made it just a little bit thicker, like even 0.3, completely changes the entire workflow. So that's why hair cards are so difficult, and you have to practice it, because often people will like, oh yeah, I know how to do hair cards, and they'll like follow along, but it's an actual getting in there and working with the hair. But yeah, you'll find like even if you adjust one thing, it destroys the chain. But that's why it's important to keep the workflow nice and open. So with this workflow that we're going through, at every stage you can observe something. So say for example, it's like for example here, you know, it's looking a bit thick. But this is only a preview in Maya, right? It might be that when we take that to Unreal Engine, it looks slightly different. So that's another complication. But you'll make these observations and then go all the way back in the workflow, do an adjustment, and then retest it. So hair is hard. It's not a glorious process, but the systems that we'll practice here is like that's how you get really nice hair. And I'd say, to be honest, it will probably take three haircuts for you to be comfortable going through the process, the full workflow, without having to go back to the start again. But that's where, like, you know, where we pre-draw all the hair in Photoshop and then test it inside of here, that's where you save a lot of time. So yeah, loads to cover on here. But I wouldn't feel bad that it doesn't look good straight away. That's to be expected. Okay, take some. Would these hair cards be turned into a groom in Unreal? So groom is a slightly different thing. What we're sort of focusing on is like static baked hair cards, what you'd see in a majority of games. So chances are when you get into the games industry, 95% of what you'll be doing is this. Maybe in a couple of years the grooms get really good and we start to use them more. But yeah, Unreal grooms and stuff, I consider that in the testing phase. We wouldn't really use that too much. Where are the subtitles? Hmm? Where are the subtitles? Is everything okay? Can you hear me? Oh, I see. Okay. Sorry, I use weird words sometimes. I'll try and keep it a bit more straightforward. If you want to, I shouldn't be telling you this. If you want to ruin a streamer's day, just say I can't hear you. Is there a specific poly count to aim for when making hair using hair cards? So I guess, yeah, that's the age-old question. The annoying answer is that it depends on the platform. But if I really generalized it, say for example like a current gen AAA, we'd happily be like 50k, maybe even higher, 100k if it's like a super complicated asset. Depends how close it's on the screen, you know, because we take that budget into consideration. If it's just like an NPC in Assassin's Creed, then ideally we'd be setting that a little bit lower, or we'd be aggressively LODing it. But if what you're probably making is like something for your portfolio piece, so I would suggest to keep it respectful. It's more important that it's not wasteful. So it's more important that it's optimized. So if an art director was like looking at your portfolio, we don't look at the number. So we don't care about the number. We care about the geometry and how it looks and how much you've used and how much overdraw there is. So yeah, the try counts are quite broad. It's just the most important thing is the tactic that you've used and that you've been really optimized. Cool. So one more question before we go into the progressors. So guys, if you want to like join along for this workshop, host them every month. Then we also host every month a feedback session. So usually what I do is introduce like a new topic. So for example, last month was lighting. We did inside of Unreal Engine. This month is basically hair cards. So the guys watch a video and then in your own time you can basically practice that. And then we all bring it into a workshop like we're going to do now. And it's, you know, you can come on the webcam, come on your share screen to simulate what you see at university, right? But much cheaper. And then from that, we like basically go on from the workshop, do an integration month, or sorry, integration week. So answering questions. And then we all come back at the end of it, do a feedback and just see how we got on. And if any questions popped up in your workshops or the videos that you've done, then we can all just like learn together inside the Discord. So it's a really nice like cyclical thing, repeating thing. Sorry, I won't use the word cyclical. Okay, so last question. So lots of poly count questions. Main character, you know, easily 100k, 200k. That's again, it would depend on the projects and stuff. Okay, guys, I'm going to transfer over to Discord. Thanks for popping up and questioning like really good questions.